I can't even take this weekly candle on the Bitcoin chart. Look at this crazy wick on this weekly candle. This is going down to the 50-week moving average. It's breaking into the bull market doors, this macro indicator that I've been tracking for years and years and years on this YouTube channel. And look at the battleground right now where Bitcoin is trading around just over $60,000. And as that reflects itself on the daily chart, we start getting hints on the short term, whether you hold Bitcoin or not. This is for altcoin holders as well. A roadmap for the next move for cryptos. And that's kind of what I want to talk about in this video, what's happening on the Bitcoin charts, but I also want to talk about total crypto market cap, what's happening over here as it relates to altcoin season, the timing of it, the time frame of it. Where are we? Should it have happened yet? Or how long until? Historically, it should happen. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. Let's just jump into the video. I want to start with Bitcoin, and then we'll cruise over to altcoin season talk and the total crypto market cap. So here's on the daily. Real quick, just look at the weekly though. That's insane. There's no guarantee that weekly candle will be the true bottom. Maybe we get a couple weekly candles where we're just kind of closing in between the low of that wick and where Bitcoin is now. I don't know. But seeing a candle like that so far, and we still have 2 days, 8 hours left, just a really nice candle. It's upward momentum. There's bulls stepping in a very high fear environment. That's what that says. So I wanted to point that out on the weekly, but let's talk about the short term to get a short-term roadmap of what we can watch for across all of crypto. I want to start, here's the setup. There's our bounce, just to give you an idea, off this lower trend line where Bitcoin is right now. I want to start with a clip from 3 days ago. Check this out. And right now, I think it's kind of stepping stones to even get to that moment. And for me, the stepping stones are always moving average based. So we have this area right here is a 200-day moving average around 61,500, and we can get there quick. You'd be very surprised how quick Bitcoin could just all of a sudden. So we got there quick. There's Bitcoin, just to give you an idea, and then we're going to watch the rest of that clip. But Bitcoin got there quick, and this is such a common move for any crypto, any chart. And there's probably other charts doing this. I haven't really looked, but this is such a common move off of this lower trend line bounce. People say technical analysis doesn't work. I've been doing these videos almost 7 years. It works. Not to predict exactly what's going to happen, but really to give us a very strong anticipation. Let's check the rest of this out and we'll talk about it. Tomorrow, just put in the next green candle is just a big green candle, and all of a sudden we're at like 59, right? And then all of a sudden we're below the moving averages again. That could happen quick, but these are the first areas I'm watching for. Bitcoin has to get back to at least test these areas, and that is around 61,000. So we've tested the areas, but that's just the thing. We're just testing the areas. I know, and I say this because I would just really like bottom trend line touch, quick move back to the upper trend line. Because then we can start talking about a really bullish breakout, right? Bitcoin can finally break out of this falling channel that we've been discussing. We can start talking about all-time highs being broken again, right? Because that's where this all started back here, all-time highs. We can start talking about the $90,000 or so target that we have out of this pattern. We can start talking about a lot of different things that are incredibly bullish. The beginning of the bull cycle, or this parabolic run for Bitcoin and crypto in general, that could be what this pattern could kick that off. But the thing is, it's stepping stones, and we're not there yet. We've made the move to the moving averages, but you can even just go back to this lower trend line touch back here. Bitcoin bounced very typically and nice, but then we saw resistance at the 20-day moving average, this first moving average that it tested, and it consolidated right here for like a week or so. And if we look at it this time around, not only is the 20-day not even tested yet, but right now Bitcoin's testing these two other ones, right? Last time Bitcoin was still above the 200. Right now, Bitcoin's testing below the 200. This is a very big confluent area of resistance. So in my mind, I'm just like, I'm not surprised if Bitcoin doesn't immediately break through that area, right? Very nice if it does, right? Maybe even the daily candle today gets upward momentum and continues to the upside. Maybe it's Monday, right? After some consolidation, choppiness, we break these moving averages. But I would not be surprised at all if there's resistance. And I'm not talking just for a couple days. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Bitcoin actually even just continues falling and really testing these markets. There's so often, could be the case where we get a nice wick, a nice bounce. Much of the market is like, all right, that was it. That was all the pain. We get a rejection, and then we start actually putting in another low and testing previous lows. The question I have during that movement is, what's happening on the RSI, the slower moving momentum oscillator? Can we put in some type of bullish divergence on that chart, right? That really will propel Bitcoin, or at least set up Bitcoin, no matter how it consolidates here, for the burst to the upside. So that's what I'm watching on the daily. I'm being very just not cautious, because I'm not doing anything. I'm just watching. I'm a macro person watching these charts, but I like to understand what's happening on the short term. But I'm just being patient. And it's when these moving averages get broken, then we can start having a little bit more bullish type of talk. And right now, Bitcoin is right at that resistance. You can see it on this chart, right around 62,000. The 20 days right around 63,000, just over 63,000. So that's Bitcoin right now. Going to continue watching it. But we want to see a breakout to the upside through those moving averages. Here's what I really am excited to talk about. Altcoin season, total crypto market cap. Here's total crypto market cap chart. Interestingly enough, if you look at it on the daily, and then you look at Bitcoin on the daily, look, we have this lower trend line, if I can find it, this lower trend line, very similar to Bitcoin, just these lower lows setting up. Even the moving averages not being tested just yet on the total crypto market cap chart, but right below it, right? So, and just look, maybe there's going to be a little bit of a consolidation, further pain to the downside, falling back below $2 trillion market cap. But here's where we start talking about the more macro picture, altcoin season, right? And I want to just lay some context on the Bitcoin dominance chart, and then we'll look at the total crypto market cap chart. But just look at this. Right now, Bitcoin is, after Bitcoin halving, just over 100 days after Bitcoin halving. And what we've been waiting for so long, and I've had this chart, if you've been watching my videos, we've been looking at this chart for quite some time now. What we're waiting for is what has happened in previous cycles. Post Bitcoin halving, some type of altcoin season. That's what these green rectangles are, right? So Bitcoin, post Bitcoin halving, topped out months after Bitcoin halving. This is a weekly chart. So to give you an idea, last cycle, Bitcoin topped out on the dominance before altcoin season really kicked off 217 days after Bitcoin halving, or 200 some days after Bitcoin halving. Cycle before that, we can go all the way back here to 2016. It started falling over 200 days after Bitcoin halving. So we're getting some really good context, especially as we get closer to this potential altcoin season, how on track we are. Bitcoin dominance, of course it's rising. This is not bad for altcoins right here. In a similar sense, this was not bad for altcoins. And in a similar sense, Bitcoin hanging out up here around 95% dominance was not bad for altcoins. But let me point that out to you. 95% dominance in 2016, 17. In 2020, 72% dominance. And in 2024, 57% dominance. Bitcoin dominance is falling. Altcoins are really making a name for themselves. And so from a timeline perspective, not only altcoins are making a name for themselves, but from a timeline perspective, we could have another 2 months of upside for Bitcoin, right? Maybe 60 up here to 65% dominance for Bitcoin before altcoin season even starts. So it's really good to have patience on this chart, on all these charts, on these markets, I should say. If we look at last cycle, I thought it was interesting on the monthly. If you look at this on total crypto market cap chart on the monthly, around the same time last cycle, the total crypto market cap chart was putting in a kind of a similar consolidation, a red monthly candle. And this is kind of where we are right now. Only difference is the market is at a higher market cap. And this has been kind of the story of crypto: higher highs, higher lows on the macro. So as you can see, we dive into the charts. We try and get a sense of what's the next short-term move going to be. We do want to know. We want to track it. But it's the zoomed out charts that I think matter the most, because they give us the big picture of what is going on in terms of Bitcoin, and also in terms of altcoin season and altcoins having a power move. And I think we're still on track. But again, it's commonplace that it hasn't happened just yet. So these are my thoughts today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.